he starts purring. We promised, well, actually, I promised Freddie, he said, could he introduce you to the kittens? So here's Freddie hiding behind a lot of fabric. And this is, which one's this one, Freddie?
Naughty Morty.
Naughty Morty, that's right. And if you're Emily, who is it?
Tiddles.
Of Fluffy and Tiddles. Yes. So that's one of them. And as you can see, he's a handsome young beast, aren't you? That's it. Right, there you go. Go and find us the other one. Thank you, Freds.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll get the other one.
Okay. Boy does love his kittens. Let's see if I can find you all this morning. He's so proud of his kittens, and he said to me the other day, can I show everybody? Can I show everybody the kittens? And I was like, yeah, go on then. Go on then. So who do we have? Oh yeah, a bit of fabric arrived yesterday while we were on the show. So I will just show you everything we've got. Morning, Jan. Morning, Karen. Hello, how are you? Morning, Rona. He is a bit cute, I have to say. He is a little bit cute. He's the little one, but he's the cheeky one. So he's the one that's always in trouble, hence the name Naughty Morty. So I forgot to put my lip on. Morning, Helen. Morning, Kaz. Morning, Leanne. Come on then. Now, I have to tell you, Malcolm is more shy. And this is their first time in here. So it's all very different, isn't it? So this is Malcolm. You don't go on the fabrics, mister. Let's make that a rule straight away. There we go. Which one's your favourite, Freds?
Mortimer.
Naughty Morty. Oh, Malcolm. Malcolm is officially Emily's kitten. And what does she call him?
Fluffy.
Fluffy. Oh, ablutions. On-air ablutions. How wonderful for everyone.
What's ablutions?
Ablutions is washing and cleaning, giving yourself a little spruce. You know, what you do when you... No, not cleaning the house, cleaning one's own self. There you go. Go on, off you go. Go and be good to someone, Freddie. Careful, careful. Go on, up you get. Gently, gently, gently. 2 hands, that's it. And relax. We are kitten free. Hello from Pinweem. Hi, Ginny. Cuteness all round. It is like Christmas. Yeah, I know. So Freddie is in size 11 to 12-year-old clothes. He's 7. 7. Everyone says to me, "Oh, don't you make his clothes yourself?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I would just constantly be making Freddie's clothes. I've already had to ditch a whole load of clothes that I bought him last month." He had 2 new pairs of trainers yesterday because he's grown out of the ones that I bought him 2 months ago. It's like, I'm going to stop feeding him soon. He has about 5 meals a day. It's ridiculous. Right, so good morning, everybody. Let's crack on with the show. So today we are making this. Da, 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 da. Hurrah! And this is a bedroom tidy. So it occurred to me, well, we were throwing around some ideas as to what to make. And Gemma said, oh, the kids had this really useful, I mean, I say kids, Meg will kill me because she's now 16 and looks about 26. She said, but the kids had bunk beds when they were little. And so we had one of these things. It's like, right, okay. And you can use them on bunk beds. You can use them just on your own bed because let's face it, we could all do with a little bit more tidy, or just a place to find things. You know, maybe you don't want to put your phone on the nightstand. Maybe, you know, you just want it on a pocket, or maybe you've got, maybe you watch TV in bed and you've got a remote control and you always lose it. Again, pop it in a pocket. Freddie's, well, actually, I've nicked Freddie's National Geographic. So when I was making this, I was thinking about what my kids have by their bed. Freddie loves his National Geographic magazine, so it had to fit in an A4 size book because, you know, that's important. Various teddies. There's Mr. Hedgehog there. He's quite cute. Look, he's actually got, he's got a bit of tweed. Not gonna lie, love a bit of tweed. And then I couldn't find Bedtime Bunny. Don't know where Bedtime Bunny's gone. You all right, Freds? Are you all done? Yep. Thank you very much. Good job. Are you coming in to do the show with me? All right, sit down there and behave yourself then. Fabulous. You can pass me your favourite fabrics in a minute then. Does Freddie sleep with his feet in a grow bag? Freddie, do you sleep with your feet in a grow bag? That's what my viewers would like to know because you're so tall. No, but he does stand on the manure heap quite a lot, so I'm assuming that's kind of the same thing. Just how tall you are. Were there too many zeros on the end of the fabric order form? So I might have got a little bit overexcited with the fabric. Should we show them these, Freds, and then you can take them out for me, can't you? Yeah, well, we'll show those in a minute. No. Look, there's all of these first. Oh, no. We have to show them before we remove them.
No, I'm showing.
No. Stop it. Goodness me. Get off. Look, Freds, we'll do the camera. Look, overhead. That there shows us what everybody can see. Oh, clever, huh? So, get off. Get off. Honestly, nothing is sacred around here. So, these are new. They came in. We've restocked some. So, this flew out last time. But I also have it in red.
Red.
That's that one. Do you like that one?
Ooh.
But look, Freddie, it's got like a Chinesey feel to it. It's nice, isn't it? And so, let me spin that around so that you can see. This kind of goes with this, kind of goes with this. So we've got all of those in. So if I give you these, Freddie, can you take those through to the cutting room, please?
Cutting room.
Lovely jubbly. And then we've got the fans in red. I know, there might have been a little sneaky peek of that. So make them work, is what I say. So that, again, goes with those sorts of threes. And they've been incredibly popular. So to that end, we also have them in the blue. Aren't they lovely? Really, really beautiful. And I've got so many projects for these. And we've got this now in your blue. So if you wanted to go with all your blues, you've got this one, and this one, and this one. And he's back. Yes, there are any more for any more. Right, so we've got this one, which is, what does this say on it? Fred, what does it say on the end? Can you see what it says there? What does it say? Can you read it?
00.
Oh no, not the code. It's all right. We don't worry about the code. But yeah, you've got that blue there, in there, and that's all good. Look at that dragonfly. We don't need the code. Thank you. Freds, do you think you can take 4?
Pardon?
Do you think you can take 4?
Yes.
Go on. Thank you. It's never good, is it, when you hear squeaking and Oh, look, there's your gold. There's your gold. So we've got these, this is the first time I've put these dragons on the show. I've got lots of ideas for these dragons. We've got, so I tell you actually, what also goes really beautifully. Yes, Freddie, shh.
Mummy, I can take 4.
You can take 4, excellent. Please don't run and scream.
No, Mummy, it said on Gemma's thing, can you take 4?
I know, that's because she's a couple of minutes behind. So you've got the lovely stripe there, the lovely Hampton stripe, which goes with that, which goes with that. And it all tight. Yes, Freddie, there will be. I'm just showing everybody first. Oh my goodness. Got to show people. Good grief, child. But then also you've got that purple. Right, please don't break the chair. So if you wanted to pull out the purple and bring that across, you could do that. And then also, have we had the purple dragons before? I can't remember, but just hang on. Looky. That and that, rather lovely. Mix it through with that. If you want the gold dragons, you've got the gold dragons there. Those together actually are really rather beautiful. They're the gold dragons there, Bear. And they're the purple ones there.
I can just see them from here.
Okay, well you look there. How many so there's that and that. I'm trying to work out what all goes together. Thank you, Freddie. Lisa Hammond is watching. Excellent. There you go.
Yay!
Thanks, Bear. We have also got dragons in teal and that goes with, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely stunning. So that's all rather lovely. Then we have also got for you, we've got the project panels in the grey, finally, and also the stripe with this. Now we had someone say the other day that you couldn't use this for bag making because the seam allowance would mean that it cut off, and I didn't quite understand, because there's a nice seam across there, but if you are making a bag and you want to see more of it, use your selvage as part of your seam allowance if you want to see more. But there is plenty, and we've used this on lots of things, and Lisa's designed it, so there is a strip there. But this would work really beautifully with the bags that we had yesterday, really beautifully. So we've got that. This is back in stock, stunning. Freddie, can you take those grey? Oh, hang on. If you're going for the greys, just to bear in mind, we've also got the silver fan, and they are rather lovely. And also the fans are the ones that were used with the bag handles that we had on air yesterday for you. So but any of these fabrics look stunning with them. Right, go, 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 Bet. Off you go. Thank you. So where are we at? We've got those. Haha, we've also got the project panels in black. We're going to do a show where we use all of these to make all sorts of beautiful things, but that's in stock. We've got more of the gum leaves. What else have we got for you? We've got that. You see, look at these. They are just gorgeous. I don't think that we've had these before either. These are going to work beautifully with your dragons. I think we've got the dragons in black as well, and of course this works beautifully with the pagoda. And then there's your blue and your red if you were going with all of the Chinese, either the blue, the red or the green colourway. Then you've got those options there. Fred, can you take that please?
Pardon?
Thank you. Off you go. Yeah, so you've got, but they just provide rather a lovely contrast. There we go. So you've got those, but use them with your dragons because they're rather lovely. There we go. Thank you, Freddie. And then we've got the small flowers, the small florals, the Melba small flowers, which have come with, which go with this, which go with. Oh, I've just given it to Freddie.
Any more?
Yes, there is more. Oh, and so yeah, so we had
Wet orange fans.
orange fans. Yes. So when we
Just
did.
like the silver fans.
Yes, just like, but in orange. So when we did the picnic blanket, we did it in the orange colourway. We've been asked to get the black in so that we can do the black colourway, so we're getting all of that in. But also if you wanted, then you can use the orange fans, obviously, in there as well. So Frederique, can you take those for me, please? In the original colourway and also with the grey, the teal is beautiful. And then we've got just the cream fans in ivory. If you wanted to go for a different colourway here and here, then there's so much. Or we've got the black fans. And then we've also got, actually that's quite fresh, isn't it, and lovely. We've got the green fans as
Just
well.
like the orange fans and the other fans.
That's right. There you go. Whoops, fanboy. Off you go.
Can I have those fans?
No, off you go. Come back for us in a second.
I can carry those.
Yeah, I know you can carry those. That's because you're strong and big and all those. Oh, Freddie, have you got the red one on there? Could I have the red one back, please? I found some more red. But you see, look, you can mix everything through. They will go beautifully with that and that. And then, let me check I've got the right colourway there. Yeah, there you've got your red, you've got your smaller red fans to go with those red fans.
Pixel, please can you?
Freddie, thank you.
Daniel Clark.
Off he goes. Off he goes. Right. So we've got those. Any more for any more? Thank you, Freds. There you go. He's a crazy child. Oh, look at those together.
Any more?
Yes, there is some more for some more. Can you please be careful, Freds, with those big old feet that you're knocking stuff. Careful. Thank you, darling. Welcome to the Easter holidays. All good fun, right? All good fun. Right, those ones next. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And then there's one more. Freddie, stop kicking everything. Oh, he's so clumsy. He's growing so tall and so fast. Right, last one.
And then I put my favourite.
Then, yeah. All right. So, yeah, that's the new fabric that's in. Morning, we mow. Right. Who was late? It's all good. Right. Okay. Just got back in time from your run. Oh, Donna, that's very, very energetic. Right. Okay. Karen says, hi, Freddie and kittens. Okay. Susie's having trouble which fabrics to have. So gorgeous. Loving the dragons. The dragons are gorgeous. Well, why don't you use that as your starting point? Start with the dragons and then find the fabrics that you like that go with that. That's what I would do. Morning, Heidi. Morning, Anne. They are all on the website, Anne. If you just put in Lisa Chandler, and it's L-E-E-S-A, Lisa. What are you doing, you crazy child? Oh, okay. So in the corner of the studio, there's a screen that shows what is going out on air. So I know that I've got the right camera, and he's basically just looking at himself. Amazing. Right, Freddie, would you like to show everybody your favourite fabrics then? Yes. Come on then. And why are they your favourites?
They glow in the dark.
They glow in the dark. There we go.
These are red and pink.
Some of them are red and pink. Yep.
No, the.
Yeah. Yeah. Fred's we need to see them, darling, rather than you just rifling through them. Oh, you're cherry picking. Well, what about other people, Freds? Yeah, now he gets it. Right. So these are the glow in the dark. I know why you chose this. Oh, there we go. Thank you. These are for sale by the half metre. You see, Freddie, here's the thing, right? You might like the grey one, but Emily might like the pink. That's exactly it. That's why we get everything in. Now, I match this because I'm going to make you something for your bedroom out of this. Or would you prefer the planets?
I more like that.
You like that one? Okay.
Because it looks scarier.
It looks scarier. Do you want to wake up and see skulls in your bedroom? Is that what it is? Strange child. So yeah. So this is what we've sort of this is what we've earmarked. Never work with children or animals for the bed tidy because it will be glow in the dark. There will be one little adjustment that I would make for Freddie's because his would be on bunk beds, so I'd just make little hooks rather than having it slip under his mattress. Although I'd just have to make it an inch shorter. What are you doing? This isn't a Freddie show. Stop it. So there you glow in the darks. You've got some planets there in different colourways. What do they look like, Freds? What do you think they look like?
Stars.
Do you think stars? They do have a star in the middle. They look like hurricanes. I thought they looked like Catherine wheels. Don't scratch it. We stroke the fabric. We don't scratch it. That's it. Stroke it. Right. Get off. Get off. Right. Thank you, Freddie. Would you like to take that away now?
Yes.
Were there any more? For any more? No, we're all good.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. And then you can go and watch some TV.
No, I'm going to help you.
No. TV, please. Something. Right. Oh dear. I'm going to shut the door. Bear with me. There we go. Right. Okay, so yeah, good job to have a little helper. I mean, it's all the fabric, isn't it? It is all the fabric today. I think he's had too much sugar this morning. Yeah, there's every chance. He's really good about not eating all of his chocolate Easter eggs, but he did find some in the fridge this morning, so he might have had a bit. This quilt at the back is called Elliot's Garden, and that will be what Jane is doing tomorrow. It's rather gorgeous. It's starting to use some of the Lisa Chandler fabrics, but in quilt form, which are rather beautiful. So not only do we have the new fabrics that I wanted to show you today, because tomorrow we'll have the Half Meter Heavens to show you, but we've got those. Now, we have had an influx of Lewis and Irene of late. Now that the boats are unstuck at the Suez Canal, they can actually get, honestly, I think it's stressful here sometimes when the fabric orders don't come in, but how on earth it must feel for, you know, the likes of Lewis and Irene, that Hannah at Lewis and Irene found a tracking system that she could track her fabric container on the ship and just watched it going up and down the channel, and then the other one was stuck 3 ships back on the Suez Canal. So it's all been lots and lots of fun, which means that we are getting it now. Now we've had the fairy fabrics, and we put together long quarters of the fairy fabrics so that you could make this, which is the Raggy Quilt, and we did that the other day, and I love this. I have to say, I have been under this quilt. Emily's been under the quilt when she got up with me the other morning. She said, "Mummy, I'm cold," so underneath she went, and it also goes beautifully with my office chair. So that was, you know, an unlooked for success. I was like, right, so that is now, that basically lives draped over my my chair in my office. So I mean, I would invite you to think about what fabrics you want if you're doing this for a child's bedroom, if you're doing it for your own. Maybe you want some of the Lisa Chandler fabrics. If you're doing it for your own, maybe you want, this is what it will look like. So it's 30 centimeters wide. So you're going to need 2 strips of 30 centimeters wide, and then it is 15 inches, 30 inches, sorry, inches and 15 inches deep. Now these stay up, you can see we've got a bolt of fabric on top anchoring it down, and this is the magic of, I've got, oh here we go, here's the other half. So this, a roll of this will make 2. Okay, and what it is, it doesn't matter which way up you put it because your mattress will be on top of it, but it is a shelf, it's not adhesive, it's a non-slip shelf fabric. It's weird, it's got like these little bubbly plasticky bits, so you can put it on your trays to stop your drinks and stuff from falling about, and things like that, and you can put them in your trays to stop your cutlery from zhuzhing around everywhere. I had to do a bit of research as to which ones were good and which ones would work, and then when I realised that actually I could get 2 of these out of 1 of these, perfect, absolutely perfect. So that's what I have done, and so this sits underneath the mattress, and then it's not going to go anywhere. You can stuff that as much as you like. This ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. The other thing to check, I mean, so the way you'll see how I've made this, actually it's, well, the dresser isn't as deep as a bed, but it's made to go there, but it doesn't matter. You've got extra leeway for when this goes into the fabric, so that you don't have the plasticky bit showing, you just have the fabric. I'll show you, all will become clear. Please say what retail price is on air.
For the roll of the...
Oh, for this? Oh, this is £6.50 retail. Sorry. It helps. Gemma's like, you haven't given me the retail price. Sauce, Gemma! But you'll make 2. So that's a cost per one of these of £3.25. It's just something that's just a little bit specialist. kids' phones. Excellent. When I say one of the kids' phones, by the way, like they don't have proper mobile phones. That would be an old broken one that Emily likes to pretend to phone on just before people are like, oh, children are so spoiled. No, none of that. Right, so let's have, aren't there laws about child labour? I suppose he's too big to send up a chimney. Well, that's just it. Got to get him working somehow, right? And that's how. Actually, there's more upset if I don't let them help. If I don't let them help unpack the fabric and sort it and stack it and all that kind of things, then it's just easier to let them help. Hi Karen, it's a tricky decision. It's a tricky decision. Would the brown stripe go with the cork base in the Lisa bag? Yes, because that's it. That is your brown stripe. That's the brown stripe in with the cork. There you go. As if by magic, right? As if by magic. Shall I pop that up there? Let me get a little hook. Uh-oh. We're an Orifil down. There we go. Yeah. Oh, look, I finished yesterday's bag, by the way. I say finished. I finished in terms of I have micro stitched the handles on. I'm still reveling in my own genius at this because it just holds them absolutely perfectly in place, which has meant that I can position them absolutely accurately. They're not going to shift and shimmy around. These will be the most perfect bag handles I have ever attached. And then somebody asked me, I wanted to show this because somebody asked me, they said, oh, in the pattern, there isn't a popper in the pattern. No, but if you buy these handles, the brown ones, the dark brown ones, then they do have the popper in there and they're sew on. So it's if you want the bag furniture, then pop it on, but it's absolutely not essential. You can see this is the same bag, doesn't have it on. Did I pop popper on that one? But so it's just down to personal preference entirely. Let's pop this up. But yeah, if you've got a micro stitch tool, and I've just started stocking the refill needles, which I didn't know that you can get, but of course, as with any needle, they can blunt. So yeah. Oh, it's all good, right? So there are various different ways to do this. I've chosen to do pockets of each of those. What I didn't bring in actually were the kids baby quilt fabrics, which we've got. Is it in a 7 fat quarter bundle or something like that? But they're fat quarters, which would be perfect for the pockets. And then you'd just get yourself a plain, I'd get yourself a metre of plain to go behind, you know, and then it's not going to break the bank. So there are a few nice to haves with this. I have used S250. Yes, no, S520, bit dyslexic there, S520, which is this, okay. This is, one side is adhesive and the other not. And basically, this is what you would use if you were making a curtain pelmet or something like that. I have used it to make bags before. It's great for the bases of bags, but there's no cushioning. So it's not always my favourite go-to. But yeah, if you're reinforcing a base or something like that, you know, it works absolutely fine. But otherwise, this wouldn't be my favourite. But if you wanted to make a base like we made yesterday out of a really thin fabric, then yeah, you could absolutely adhere it to that. So, but this works an absolute treat to give a nice, firm, sturdy, but lightweight back to that. So I'm going to, did I cut myself a piece already or not? No. So I'll cut myself 30 inches. Now, I think, do we sell this by? There is a reason, Dave, that I found my fabric weights. Like, oh, come on. It's as it gets towards the end of the roll. We had a bit of a run on, whoops, we had a bit of a run on this the other day. I've got another one ordered for you, so it's all good. But yeah, I was like, oh no, here we go. So let's cut that. Do. Yeah, it's the last time when Gemma says, why don't you do one of these? It'll be really easy. Me this morning trying to work out what on earth I'm doing. Really easy, I say to myself. Next time she can make the pattern next time. There we go. So that's all you're going to need of that. And actually, the beauty of it is, because this is meant for pelmets and stuff like that, or as my auto spell for pellams. I mean, that's a bit on a bridle. Certainly is not a pelham. For pelmets, then it's actually a beautiful depth for beds. It works really nicely. And I don't know about you, I don't have a valance. Is that what they're called? Valance on my bed. So actually, this is really nice. Ever so nice to have. Right, so we've got that. So that's one thing tick done. There. So you've got your bit that you slide in between your mattress and the base of your bed. That's that bit. That is going to run along here. Now for here you have a choice. You can either use old bits of wadding, offcuts of wadding, piece them together, spray adhese them on, and that's absolutely fine. Or you can use H640, H630, which is a thing as well. In fact, I might just ask someone to bring me the H630 in, because we've just got some of that. A lot of it's gone into kits, but we've just got some. And that is a slightly lighter weight than the H640, but it's still that fusible fleece. So it's giving just a little bit of padding again, so it's attractive to feel. It feels really nice, and so they don't mind stuffing the toys in there, or whatever it is that you're putting in there. And then we're going to need our background pieces. So if I'm basically going to make one the other side, aren't I? But I did think, if you wanted to do just one strip, and you've got the measurements in there for just one strip, or you've got the measurements for the 4 different pockets, how beautiful would this look? It feels so soft. This is from the Fairy fabric range. It's really rather beautiful. But yeah, I just thought you'd have that pocket all the way along there, and how stunning that would look. Oh, hi, thanks. Did that not go in the kits yesterday? Ah, not yet, not yet. Excellent. It will. Huh? No, it's all right. Yeah, go on, I can always get some more. Yeah. Yeah, go on, I'll order another bolt. So yeah, basically this I thought would be beautiful just across. If you don't want to patchwork your front pieces, you don't have to. You don't have to. And also you've got little fairies in there. It's ever so pretty. And John Cole Morgan did leave us with some. It's like, I need to back some quilts with that. Like, yes, you do, sir. Yes, you do. But we're not going to use that right now. If, with kids you are on a budget, then I would say just use a plain. Just use a plain for the back. That's what I've done. And our plains are, what, $3.99 for a ½ metre. So you'll have a lot left over from a metre. That's the other thing. Or maybe you've got scraps. Maybe you want to piece, what you've got at home. It's entirely up to you. The other fabrics to consider making these from, and I know that we've shown these briefly on a Facebook Live, but seriously, how stunning are these? You can buy them by the ½ metre or in trios. It's up to you. The little bunnies and the chicks. I like this one with the bunny that's going all over the shop. And then you've got your chicks in their nest, but it's multi-directional, so it's all good. And so I've put those two together. I think with that one, if you wanted to buy a trio, then you've got that option. Or if you want to go pinks, I'm going to show this on a sneaky, oh, hello. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. What's happened here? There we go. Just jolted one of the cameras. Here we are. Whoop, there. No. Look at the bunnies. There, no, there. Why can't, there, no. That one. Honestly, some of our guests come in and they're so much better at this than me. They just get it straight away. I mean, bunnies hanging off branches, what's not to love? Beautiful. And then bunnies! Bunnies and daisies, just beautiful. Of course, because this is a collection, all of these work so beautifully together. So if you want to mix and match them up, it's entirely up to you. But we have put these, whoops, into little trios. I'm going to use this today. And, you know, you don't need a lot of these. So, you know, these, for the pockets, the biggest size is 10 inches by 12.5. So it's a 10 each in each deep. So you can, you know, you can use up this for so many other things. I think, you know, if you get a trio of these, then not only will you have beautiful, beautiful pockets, but also, oh, Lucy, look at this. Let's get this on a close-up as well. Just gorgeous. Look at that with the bunnies, the detail in there. So beautiful. If it kind of, if Liberty did children's pretty fabrics, it would be that. And then these little chaps as well, those bunnies as well. And I've just thrown a whole load on the floor. Again, if you want to pick up that beautiful grey colour, but maybe you don't know what flavour, if you're doing something for the little ones and you don't know what flavour, or if, you know, they're just like gender neutral, then these are fabulous ones to have as well. And there's your swinging bunnies from the branches there as well. Just beautiful. And then if you want to bring in your greens, so often, you know, your greens and your yellows are going to be absolutely stunning fabrics. And I mean, look, I've chosen to make this for my little ones, but there is absolutely nothing stopping you from making this for adults, because everybody needs a bit of tidying up, right? Oh yeah, there they are. Look at them. They're so cute. In their nest. Are they called primulas or primroses? Something like that. Bit of that going on in there. So either mix and match. There's a green there, a yellow there. But you can see, however you go, you've got that teal in there which goes with that. Everything works through, everything links through. So whatever you decide to go for, it's going to be an absolute treat. They're just beautiful. They're just beautiful. I do adore them. So what we'll look at today, we'll mix them through, especially the pinky shades as well. You can see actually how beautifully the pinky shades go. If I hold this up with the fairies. So these are the, that would all work, wouldn't it? in a room. That would be a bit gorgeous. So yeah, it is entirely up to you. Stroke the fabric. Jane had these beautifully organised when I came in. I'm just going to dump them on the chair because it's time to move on. So we need to cut our backing fabric, and my biggest thing with this was actually what to call stuff, because you've got the back of it. So is that all backing fabrics or the backing fabrics? I got myself in a muddle, but Jane helped me unravel what I was trying to say. I'm like, I don't know if I've said this right. So. The first thing that you are going to need are two 15 by 30 inch strips. Okay. I've got to hope that all my measurements, I can remember them all. What you cut off from this, you can then, or actually you could always use some of our extra wide backing. Then you'd get a whole load of it out, wouldn't you? Oh, decisions. Yeah, if you could use one of the extra wide backing fabrics to cut these out. The greys would look really nice with the Lewis and Irene. They'd look really nice. Right. So that is my first bit of cutting to do. And again, you know, use what your offcuts to then piece together the back of that, because you're not going to see it. So, you know, if you're like me and you're a little bit more frugal with your fabrics, then you can do that. So I'm just going to cut off the selvage. And we will measure this out at, we're going to do this 30 inches along. I think I mentioned that. So whilst this isn't a difficult make, it took me a while to get my head round how it was all going to go together. Because yeah, on the outside of things, you know, yeah, of course it's easy, but it's always the plotting of how these things actually come together in reality and what order to do everything. Sometimes, you know, I'll do a show and then someone will say afterwards, oh, have you ever thought about trying this? I'll be like, oh yeah, that would have been better. There are a few of my patterns I want to revise a year on, because I've learnt. There we go. That's one. So you can either use that for a pocket or a back of a pocket or whatever. And then two. Chop off the selvage and off we go. I meant to do this bit before we went to air, by the way, sorry. Best laid plans and all that. Nearly done. Which fabrics are you going for today? Tell me. Are you going Lisa? Are you going Lewis and Irene? Which are we tempting you with today? There we go. And have you all got your copies of Kaif's DVD, by the way? Because if you've been thinking about it, what stock I have left will go on Ho Chanda, the craft store, on Thursday. So if you've been thinking about it, they'll sell out there. If you've been thinking about it and you've not been sure, do grab it. It's basically Kaif and Brandon when they went to India and Vietnam. And they got if you've seen the Brandon interview, then you'll know, they basically got an award-winning BBC photographer to come with them, cameraman to come with them, and he followed. So it's all through Kaif's eyes, how he sees colours, how he puts stuff together, how it influences him. It's really interesting, beautifully shot as you can imagine, and made into, yeah, this stunning DVD. But we are limited on our stock, and like I say, I did promise to Ho Chandra anything that we had left. The craft store. I must stop calling it Ho Chandra. I'm going to get myself in so much trouble. Right. So just if you want it, now is your time to get it, because it's rather lovely. As is his book. Oh gosh, his new book as well is just gorgeous, and signed as well. I need to show you a copy of it actually. We'll have a good old look through. It was really nice for me because I went there. They invited me down June last year. Was it June, July, something like that? And yeah, so that was for my interview with Kaif last year. And then they were like, oh, we've got this book coming out, so we'll show you everywhere. Everywhere. Yay! And it was all rather lovely. And Brandon cooked lunch, which was even better. He's a really good chef. Really good. Right, okay. So you are going to layer. Obviously, these are planes. They don't really have a right or a wrong side. Not that I would ever worry about. Not that you're ever going to notice or see. But you're going to make a sandwich with this. Now, does this have a right and a wrong side? It kind of doesn't matter because it's going in between your mattress anyway. Or this is just a squidge short of the 30 inches. That's all right. Clip it in place. Now, I've designed this for domestic machines so that it is easy to sew, all right, so that you don't have to get Teflon feet or this or that or the other. That's not my aim at all with any of this. It has to be easy to sew. So it was, and that was why I went with this particular did a lot of research on this particular one, because you can sew through it. You can also wash it as well. And it is waterproof. Okay. Oh, whose birthday is it? Who do we need to say happy birthday to? Cass, currently working with my firstborn too. I think you are managing it better than me. Hey, look. The electronic babysitter has now taken over. Are we going to have a Freddie's favourite selection? Basically anything glow in the dark, Karen, is Freddie's favourite selection. And yeah, I wonder who he gets the photo going from. Elizabeth, I never sent you that picture. Oh my gosh, I've just remembered. Door barricaded and bolted. Well, you know, in a nice way. Get out. Get out. Hey, look, in a few years' time, he's going to be a teenager and he's going to be, he's not going to want to be anywhere near me anyway, is he? So I do make the most of the fact that currently my children like me. It's quite nice. You know, I have to remember, Femily's a little bit clingy. She still likes me. It's good. It's good. She has not hit that hate everyone teenage phase. So with this, you're going to stitch down with that sandwich. Okay. Oh, sandwich. That's what I forgot to have any breakfast this morning. That's what I forgot. Okay. You can, those offcuts as well, you can stitch together, make into strips, stitch together, you can use for your binding. This is bound, just to make life easy for everybody. It is bound. And as you can see, it's all right. Pop yourself on a walking foot if you want. That's also absolutely okay to do. I have to say, this being a semi-industrial, it only does straight stitch. And yeah, it does it particularly well. Now, what I would invite you to do then is to take both sides, give a little shake down, and finger press it. Finger press it away from the fabric. And again, on the other side. I wouldn't press it. I don't know what that's going to do under heat. So let's not do that. But. And then think about how you're going to take it to your machine. So this is the thing. If we're not going to use fancy feet, Teflon feet or anything like that, roll this way and pop it under your machine so that I've got a 1/4 inch guide foot on mine. Let me show you at the moment. Okay, so it's got, actually, do you know what would have been really good on this today? Would have been the extension plate. Where have I put that? Yeah, so I've got that walking foot with the edge on it as a guide, my lipstick. And I'm going to use that to just guide down here. Lift that up, pop that on there, which will then hopefully mean there we go. So I haven't had to use anything fancy. If you want to lengthen your stitch length, then do. I've just realised Jane's shortened it. She helped with a bit of binding while I went to get ready. And all I'm doing is making sure that I've got hold of these and I'm just pulling them just to keep them away from the plastic. And I would go with a longer stitch length, but I'm kind of committed now. So I'd normally go on about a 3 with that. Okay, but that's all right. So that then is stitching that and holding that away from that side. And you know, you heard it stitched through it absolutely fine. It's all good. So we've now got this bit. It's curling up just because it's been on a curl, but it's going to be under the bed, so I'm not even thinking about that. What I will do now is just move my cutting board out the way and bring in a pressing mat. It's a pressing matter, let me tell you. Now, it really doesn't matter at this point if you've used a plain fabric back and front which side you attach this onto. But this will go on the side that is closest to the bed. So I've put the rear of the backing fabrics, the rear piece of the backing fabrics, because this is kind of your pocket backing. Yeah, I did get myself in a bit of a with that. One side has an adhesive, the other doesn't with this. we're going to align it with the bottom edge. Okay. Now, you might be saying, Natasha, what are you doing? Because have you not noticed that your lining, let me show you. I do know, it's okay. That your lining stops and then there's a gap of a couple of inches before it starts again. Yes, I do. This is stiff, this is pelmet. This is for pelmets and, you know, the bases of bags and things like that. So I didn't want for you, when this is under the bed, for you to be able, a lot of thoughts gone into this, for you to be able to see all of this. So what this bit does is, this is the bit that's going to curve up and over the side of your mattress so that you don't see any of this. This is going to sit hidden underneath your mattress, and then this will then be on the curve, or it also means that you can have it at whatever height you want. But then this bit here is then going to be nice and straight, and that'll be where we go. Let me just test if I've got this. Have I put it on the wrong way? Yes, I have. I'm going to have to spin it around. Like I say, at this point, it really doesn't matter. Onto which side you adhere it, because yes, to an extent, one of these sides is grippy, but, well, actually they're both grippy, but it doesn't matter, because you're going to, it's the fact that it clamps top and bottom is the bit that you want. It's an unusual use for a fabric weight, isn't it? You know, actually putting down a liner. Right, let's go again. Now it's the right way around. Yay! There we go. That's the monkey. Ginny, make me feel bad now. Door barricaded and bolted. Morning, Ali. You missed the kittens. You missed Freddie and the kittens. Oh, but it's okay because you've been watching the birds in the garden. It's quite nice, isn't it? I was mucking out the horses the other day, and a beauty. We've got a lovely robin in the garden, and there's a wire gate into the into where the greenhouse is, out of the yard, and it just looked like a scene out of the secret garden with this beautiful robin. It's gorgeous, really lovely. We're starting to get a good dawn chorus, aren't we, Ginny? Really are. Here we are. At least Freddie does not do the HP moon at the camera. You know, give him a few years. I'm sure that as a teenager or something, he would find that hilarious. At which stage, he will be banned from my workroom. It'll be as simple as that. Nearly done. Here we go. And then we're going to put this to one side and make the front pocket. Yeah, half pint, bless her, mooning to camera. Will we be getting any more Melba Kaleidoscope fabric in? Yeah, so any that we don't have in at the moment, Leslie, is just because it's on a reprint. And then it will come to us direct from Japan. All of Lisa's stuff is printed at quite an amazing printing mill in Japan. And she was so careful about how she sourced it. She knew exactly the one she wanted because she knew there were only two that could do the effects that she wants to get, that depth that you have in her fabrics. So yeah, they are being reprinted. Some are being reprinted as we speak. So if we're missing any at the moment, it's just because they are being reprinted. So but we will. We'll be getting them all in. So don't you worry about that. Myra says, you scare me at times. I mean, I scare a lot of people. I remember, it's not really very funny. I was very upset about it at the time. When I was at Create and Craft and my very first review, my boss, my two bosses got out, printed off 4 pages off the Create and Craft dissatisfied Facebook group, because, you know, good stuff's always going to happen there. And that was my review. Yeah, reading 4 pages of absolute bile written about me. And I was heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. I'd given up a whole life in Cornwall to go and do TV. And there was this person saying that I was scary. And if I used to teach, they felt really sorry for the kids I used to teach, because I'd clearly just scare them and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, why don't I even know you? It was my first foray into, if you are a TV presenter, people will write all sorts about you, and it was a proper eye-opener. So yeah, I haven't been called scary for a while though, but I have scared Myra this morning. Been looking for a pattern, something like that for my bed, for remote and mobiles and snacks. I missed the snack opportunity. But do you know what, actually, you are so right, because I wondered what was going to go in that, and that could be, you know, a drinking bottle or something like that for them. Perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I meant the stripe that arrived today, the Hampton stripe. Yes, let me get it back for you. And, oh, that would look really nice, actually. And. Actually, I've got that in another couple of colours. Sorry, let me just find these stripes. I know I've got it in here somewhere. Ah, there it is. There are certain fabrics that are allowed in my workroom to live. Lisa's are one of them. Let me find some cork. We can have a little look at that. Yeah, Lisa's are one of them, and Tilda as well. I can't fit all the cave in here as well. Yeah, so here we go. So for you. What about the green as well? The green and the red, that's rather lush. But yeah, there you go. That would absolutely work with the cork. For sure. That'd be really smart, actually. There you go. We always try and oblige as much as we can. Okay, so you could get a kitten in those pockets. You could get a lot of things in those pockets, but a kitten will not be one of them. They will not be going in the bedrooms. Who am I even trying to kid? But Half Pint threw a breakfast up on the carpet this morning, so I'm a little bit off cats this morning. Right, we're going to put that all to one side. That's probably more information than you needed to know about my morning activities. Tidying up after the cat. She's getting old, bless her. She woofs her breakfast and it doesn't always stay down. The children were horrified. Absolutely horrified. Mummy! Righto, I'm on it. It is the madness that is the McCarthy household. Right, so pockets. I'm going to do something nice with that afterwards. So you can either do one long strip, no problem at all. You can piece, if you've only got 1/2 metre of fabric, then piece it, but piece it on where a pocket seam would be. What I've done, I've got, that's my back strip. See, I did do a bit of planning, a bit. We could mix this up, couldn't we? We could do, what do we think? Hang on. And this is for you to decide how you want these pockets to go. Maybe do big, little. Yeah, let's do that. That's going to look quite cute, isn't it? Should we mix it up? What do we think? Like that? Or you could put 2 big pockets, however you want to do it. This is your make, okay? loving the multi-directional bunnies there. It's always good. Or like I say, just do one long strip, and the measurements for that are all in the pattern. It will be available at some point as a digital download. It's just that Josh is busily typing it all up for me and making it look pretty as we speak. There we go. So just going to stitch down there and off we go. So you're going to make a continuous strip basically. I'll be honest, I had to put the 1/4 of an inch foot on with the edger because it just goes so fast, this machine, and I was getting stuff running away. It's like, what's going on? I couldn't keep up. And I am getting more used to switching between feet as well. I'm getting better at that. All these things take time, don't they? It's like having a new car. You know, you do need to get to know it all. So I'm very grateful that you're all bearing with me. What did I do with my scissors? Where are my super snips? Super snips. What have I done with them? Put them somewhere very safe indeed, I feel sure. So yeah, just make sure you've got them. Because these are multi-directional, I've already forgotten which way round they were going. Just stitch them into that one long length. If you want to change the pocket sizes, do. Basically what I've done, these are all serving suggestions, but the measurements work. And it will all become clear in a minute. Well, hopefully. Okay, press your seams open, no bother with that. There we go. Sort of finger press mine. There we go. I'm pretty sure when my mum watches these shows, she's always quite amazed that I even have an iron. It was never... My mum was always the one that ironed, and she would iron all of our stuff, and she was really good at it, so none of us ever bothered, because mum was always far better and quicker at it than us. And then I just, as an adult, unless it was something really special, I'd always find a way to not have to iron stuff. Bit slovenly really, isn't it? But hey, now then, this is H630. Ooh, that's not far off, is it? Now, I used H640 with the other, and again, it just comes shy by a couple of inches. So I just pieced a bit on, because it saves you from having to buy loads. So just trying to see if I've got, yeah, you know, or if you've got some leftover wadding from a quilt or anything like that, honestly, just piece it together, zigzag stitch it, or use your batting tape or whatever. This is a great project for using up those scraps. This has just come in, and I haven't used H630 before, and that's what this is. I've used H640 and I use it a lot, so I wanted to get it and I wanted to use it because there are times when you don't always need as much bulk, and you know, it's just, sometimes it's just nice to know when, because this obviously won't be quite as expensive if it's not as floofy. It's a technical term, I checked. Floofy. But of course that does mean, because this is new in, but I don't have any leftovery bits, I've just realised. But you'll use it in the exact same way that you do your H640. That's a nice weight actually. So I will just cut myself a little bit more. Trying really hard. See, this is how the wadding comes in. Obviously we'll sell this by the half metre or metre, so you know how you want to divvy it up. If you've got other projects that you need it for, then great. You know, take out those larger projects and then have a go with this. Because I think I'll know what I'll use some of this for later. Oh, I'm concentrating, so I don't go, I go a little bit quieter, don't I, when I'm... there we are. Just cutting, just cutting, just cutting. Now, there's, helps if I get the blade. There are a couple of ways that you can, with your binding, that you can attach it. So if you're using a wadding that isn't fusible, then just butt the pieces up together and do a really long, wide zigzag stitch, and just hold that together. It doesn't give a ridge then, but you just abut the ends so that you don't have a seam ridge, and just a long zigzag would then hold that. This is a fusible, so I'm not even going to worry about it. It really isn't anything that I will even consider to be a problem. I'll just adhere it, and that's all that will happen. So you can do it to the front or the back, doesn't matter. I'm going to go on the front because then I know that my seam allowances, I can get those then nicely sitting down. A treat. There we go. Do we have any questions? Morning, sorry I'm late. I've been in the actual office. Oh, Kirsty, steady on. Actual office, no need for that. No need. The trouble would, oh, you get a couple of when they still want to get in the pocket with the kittens. So I didn't think they'd grown very much at all, and I was having a little worry, thinking, are they growing okay? I found them a food that they absolutely love. Those kittens. Are they growing? Are they all right? And then actually, when I compared photos of them 2 weeks ago, they've got one of these cat trees, and they used to curl up together right in the middle of the dishy bit. And yesterday, I put a video up on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, of the kittens, and they were basically curled in each other's arms, but sprawling out the edges. I was like, oh yeah, no, they are growing. They are growing. It's not like kids where you can put marks up on the wall, is it, to just see how much they've grown? I don't think. Don't know how you'd do that. It's a bit of a movable feast, isn't it? It's like the first time that you realise that horses aren't measured to the top of their head because it goes up and down. They're just measured to the first fixed point, which is the wither. I remember thinking that. I learnt to ride when I was 11. Thinking, well, how do you know how big the horse is? It's those little things, isn't it, that you don't necessarily realise that a kid is even thinking. Right, so I butt up those edges. And I'm just going to trim that back. La 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 la. Ha-ha! For the scraps. Beautiful. There we go. Yeah, you see, you won't know that I've joined a bit of that. Let's see, anybody else got anything? I used Pelmet stuff for totes, for paperwork in the day. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Of course. Absolutely, what a great idea. My lucky dip half meters arrived yesterday. Beautiful, washed, ironed and hidden away. Thank you. Oh, Ginny, you are good. Very good, washing all your fabrics. Morning, Liz. Morning. Nice border print for a dress there. Yes, absolutely. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here we go. Right, so trying to find some woodland fabric for my grandson's room to make accessories and a play tent. We have got like a foresty type fabric, which is rather gorgeous, by the half meter, I think. It's got foxes and bears and all sorts of things. So yeah, have a little look. So we have got our long strip for the pockets, and yes, it is going to be way more than, oh, where did my voice go? Way more than 30 centimetres, inches. Why am I on centimetres today? I'm just going to iron out that crease in the middle. Very strange. Very strange. There we go. Right. Right. Trim off the selvage. Now I didn't cut this to 30 inches. I can do that now, or I can just bear with me. Let's do all of this. This is first thing, cut your pieces. Would help if I follow my own instructions, wouldn't it? Isn't that just do as I say, not as I do, and all of that malarkey? Right, so that on there, over the top. No. Yes, would really help if I'll be swiftly stitching that back on. It's not the backing bit, this is the pocket bit, it's wider. All of these measurements are in the instructions, but this does just go to show that if you need to piece pieces together for the back, it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world at all. Please don't worry. As, you know, deliciously demonstrated here. There's Liz watching going, oh yeah, no, I do watch, you know, if I just had any talent to do it. Apparently that isn't a prerequisite today. Honestly. Do you know what I'm going to do now? I'm just going to stitch and then trim it back. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open that seam up. This is the back of the pockets. You are not going to see it. So that's what I mean. Pitch it, patch it, do whatever you need. These bits behind the scene, they don't have to be with your most beautiful fabrics. They can be pieced together offcuts. I like to think it's the real... The reality of sewing. You can pin these, you can do all of that. I'm just going to take it to the machine because I've got my edger on. And do you know what, days like this, these are the days where I shouldn't, and I should pin everything and be super, super careful. And there we go. But they're also invariably the day that I go, what could go wrong? We'll just do that. It'll be fine. Yeah. So. Just talk amongst yourselves. Have we got Lo today? I haven't seen her name crop up anywhere. So she's very quiet. There we go. Trim that back in a minute. So when you've done that, what I would do is open and press this top this top lining fabric away. As if you would when you stitch your seams together when you are quilting. And then, look, you've got a choice. You don't have to do this bit at all. If you wanted to just put a run of binding across the top, then you absolutely can. Like, there's nothing to stop you. And I did think about that. I did. And then I thought, well, you know, it's an option then, isn't it, for everyone? So you've got it like that, like so. And then all you need to do is fold it. And we're going to stitch it back down together. We're going to stitch down there, but making sure that that seam is right in the middle, right at the top. So let's go and do all of that. So yeah, if you do have one of these 1/4 inch feet that has the guide on the edge, for things like this, they're really useful because you get a really true even finish. But again, like I say, if you wanted to just put some binding over the top of this, that's absolutely fine. Oh, I do like this machine. It's as you would expect. It's no whistles or bells. It just does a straight itch brilliantly, and that's what it likes to do, which works for me. Oh, hello, just good old technology. Right, so I will now trim that back because I know that it's the right size. Oh my goodness me. Right. So we have now got, oh yeah, got a little bit wonky there. We've now got all of this. If you have got anything that you just need to level up, just do. Squidge. Right, we've now got our pockets. And this is the only bit that you might sort of go, huh, and need to think about. So you will be pinning this base onto this. So that's the only reason that I said attach your S520 to the rear of the back pieces. In other words, the piece that is going to be closest to the bed, just because yeah, we're going to pin onto the front side. Now, as you can see, yeah, one of two things might have happened here. Either I've got this all horribly wrong, or this is looking too long. It's not too long. Please, can I just assure everybody this is not too long. What you want to do is align that edge with that. Stick a pin in it. Oh. And exactly the same the other side over here. And we're going to baste those two edges in place, okay? So, there we go. Just on a long stitch, on a long basting stitch. And then round the other side. Baste, baste, baste. And then we know where we are. You might, if you've got an extension table, bring it out and just, it'll give it a little bit of extra drape. Right, so let's show you this. You can see pretty clearly that something's up here. All right, it's okay, it's okay. Now, if you've got just the one long strip, then you're going to have to put some marks onto the top of your fabric. But otherwise, we're going to use these seam guides to work out where we want to go. So the next thing that we need is some kind of marking device. I've got a chalk pen, that works great. And then your ruler here. So what we're going to do is align my ruler on the very end there. I'm going to go to the 10-inch mark. And you can see I've got 2 inches left over there. That's fine. And I'm going to put my seam on there and clip it in place. Okay. Now this one is going to be a 5-inch pocket. So I will measure along 5, and again I'm going to get that seam. Oh, okay, helps if you actually measure it on the base and not the lining. So again, just aligning. So there's my 5-inch mark. There's my seam. Pick up the lining as well. Pop it on there. Clip in place. Sorry, you're getting my roots rather than anything else. And then from there, I'm going to measure. Again, this is a big pocket. Okay, can you see? So I've measured. I'm going to align that to there. Pop a clip in it. So they're all, it's okay. It's all okay. Now from here, we're going to do exactly the same. There's my 10-inch mark there. If you, there's basically an added couple of inches to these pockets. So this is now 12 inches. So if you've used a continuous piece, you'll put a mark at 12 inches, and that will be the mark that you then line up with your 10-inch mark. Okay. And then measure on again. Again, you've got 2 inches on that, so if you were marking the top bit because you'd use one continuous piece, then it would be 7 inches that you would mark on this top piece of fabric. That's how wide it is from that seam to that seam, and from that seam to that seam it's 12 inches, and from that seam to that seam it's another 7 inches. Okay, so there's basically an inch spare either side. And there we are again. Now with any leftover fabrics, things that we thought would be really nice to do, just while I change my foot over on my machine. And that's just, I'm just taking off the 1/4 inch foot because I don't need that guide now because I'm going to be stitching straight through the middle. Yeah, so with your leftover fabric, projects that we have that would be absolutely gorgeous would be a matching book cushion. And, you know, it doesn't have to be a book cushion per se. It could be, you could put your pajamas in there or something instead. So it could be a pajama cushion. There's always lots of options. The other thing is the tablet stand. So if you know, you might want to make a matching tablet stand for whoever is receiving this. So certainly, you know, for adults, I know that I watch off my iPad in bed. I try not to too much, but occasionally, if I've had a lot of hand stitching on a project, then I might start a little series, in which case then I get obviously addicted and have to watch it all. So all we're going to do now is stitch on the line, on these seam lines, which is why if you did one long continuous piece for that front pocket, you just draw in those lines and that's it. All of that is explained in the instructions, by the way, so you don't have to remember the measurements or anything like that. I start at the bottom and then I know I'm good. Again, use a walking foot if you want to, if you're worried because you're going through a few layers. I take a stitch over and then I go a stitch under, just bend that pin, because the tops of these, this is where there's going to be the wear, isn't there, at the top. So just make sure that you've got that covered by going for, so reinforcing that stitch over the top. So you can just hear we're stitching through that pelham stuff. So it does sound a little bit different. It's all okay. And again, I changed my needle before the project so that it was nice and sharp. I happen to agree with Gary when he says, you know, go with a smaller, sharper needle. It's exactly what I've done. There we are. Oh, the concentration. Okay, right. Merrily throwing pins and needles and all sorts all over the place. Okay, so now, what we've got is pockets at the top. Yeah. But they are of no use yet. Oh no. So here's what we're going to do, okay? It's going to be slightly different on this end bit. I will just trim that back as well before we bind it, because, in fact, I'll trim it back now because that's going to annoy me. Just see where it's gone over. We'll do the middle ones, we'll come back to the end ones in a minute. So, Use your mat if you want to, but you are going to, I'll use my mat, either side you will measure 1/2 inch, 1 inch. So either side of the seam, 1/2 inch and 1 inch. So over here on this one, 1/2 inch and 1 inch, 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and over here 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Okay, get some clips at the ready. So that 1/2 inch line, almost put your finger in it, then fold, and you want to take up your lining and everything as well. You're going to take that inch mark across to meet that seam, folding on that 1/2 inch line, and that just puts a pleat in. You see, it's really neat. So make sure you got your lining. Stick your finger, or if you've got a pokey tool or anything like that, there, and just take that inch line onto that seam. And can you see we start to get some depth to our pocket? So 1/2 inch, there's my inch across. So fold on the 1/2 inch, take across that inch onto there. 1/2 inch, take that inch across. And you can see it's really starting to take shape now. So the bases along here, they will end up flat. Okay. It is ever so slightly different on the very end ones. I'm nearly there, so I'm nearly there able to show you. Because you are, I just love this. So I've got one now for each side of Emily's bed because it sticks out into the room. This is fabulous. So here you need to leave at least 1/4 inch for your binding. Now I've used pre-rolled binding, pre-made binding here. And that measures 1/2 inch. So when that is on, I need to not be, I need that to not have any folds. So there's my 1/2 inch there. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch, 1 inch, but just further in. So it's exactly the same process, but just starting a little bit further in. Okay. So that will still, lay flat. There we go, like that. But can you see, we've allowed space now for when that binding goes on. We've allowed space for the binding. Okay, and that's the only thing that's different on either end. And over here, the same. I mean, I'm not going to mark it. I can just see that's where that is. That's that bit there, and pull across. So I've left space for my binding. And then baste all the way along that point there. Off we go. Do you know what? I will actually I really, for basting and stuff like that, I do really like my edge feet because it just keeps me in line. It stops me from wandering, and it makes me really happy. And I have promised myself with this machine that I'm not going to become slovenly and affect my work just because the feet don't snap on like I'm used to. The only way to get used to stuff is to change it, is to use it, is to actually do the things that you want to do with it. So I know that you guys don't mind. And I'm not going to bind all of it, by the way. I'll show you how to start and finish it, but there we go. I want to show you one last thing. So again with a nice long stitch. And it does help if you've got some kind of, where am I? Just something to take, because it's a little bit ungainly. Or just, you know, just help it as it needs to. But in basting everything in place, what it's going to do is make everything just look that bit neater. It's going to be easier for you to bind it because it's already flat where you've stitched it. Because otherwise you could, like, there'll be those experienced sewists amongst you that'll be like, oh, I wouldn't, I would just, you know, I'd just clip that into my binding. You can. This just helps. Just helps hold everything in place a little bit. There we go. Okay, now the binding. Let's see. So we've got pockets, 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 gorgeous pockets. And they, you know, they dome invitingly there for you. Now, I have used pre-made binding. I've got it. It is one of those things that I really like. It's my little treat to myself. Now with yours, your lining will come flush with that. Mine didn't because I was overzealous with the other one and cut a little bit too much off. I will just trim that back a little bit in the most cack-handed way ever. Don't watch that. There we go. So at the starting point up here, fold, open up your binding, fold it over, just so you don't get any raw edges, and then fold it shut. If you've made your own binding, do it with a 2-inch binding, and then fold it over. And Jane and I discussed, I said this morning, Jane, do you think that we need to bind all the way around here? She said, we're not going to see it and it doesn't fray. I said, no. So you would then, you haven't got any raw edges showing there. Clip, 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 clip. All the way down, of course, to here. Okay, now when you get down to the corner, mitre it. There are, I'm sure lots of posh ways to do this. For me, there it is folded. I go along that edge and then just push it down. And that can't help but go over it. You can do it the other way so that if you know which way you're going to stitch, I would do it so that the fold follows the line of your stitching. So I will start over that end and sew around so that this main body doesn't have to be rolled on my machine. This is on the extension table. So I'm going to make sure that my fold goes in line with everything, and then all of that will be clipped. And then at the end, as we did at the beginning, you'll fold over and then it'll be lovely and neat at the end. And then all you're going to do is just stitch that all in place and you are done. Easy, simple, just a bit weird because we haven't really made anything like this before. A little bit gangly. Now, I mean, the other option that you have that we haven't even touched upon is of course, if you want to be able to see what's in the pockets, then just use sewable plastic and put a binding strip along the top and just use a strip of sewable plastic, in which case that border fabric would be divine because you'd see all of that border all the way along. That would be beautiful. All of these options, they're all there. But that's what I would do. And that's it done then. That's it finished. So with our offcuts, what are we going to do? And Gemma keeps saying to me, "You've got lots of new videos, Tash, and they won't have seen. So I love the bunny fabric. It's one of my favourites. So this is what I am going to do today. If I can find it. That is already cut to 10 inches. So let's cut this into two 10-inch squares. Actually, I'll keep that as one side. Now, it's called the Eco tablet holder. It's what I put my tablet in all the time when we are on the shows. And it is the easiest, simple. It was my first ever make on the show, ever. And therefore holds, you know, a little bit of a soft spot for me. So let's make the handle first. And again, I'm just going to use fabric offcuts. This doesn't, there are specific measurements in the pattern, but equally just use your offcuts. As long as you have a handle to be able to pick it up and down by, you'll be fine. But these take minutes to whiz up. They make great gifts. And the beautiful thing about them, you can fill them with whatever you like. And the reason that I call them Eco tablets stands is because I fill them with buckwheat. And you can mix, we've got plain buckwheat, you can mix that with lavender. We've got scented buckwheat. Those of you who had the advent calendar, the Christmas advent calendar, will know some of those scents. Rose is beautiful, really beautiful. Sandalwood is one of my favourites. Actually, my cushion that I sleep on, because I've got a neck that has been injured for many years, and so my top pillow is actually filled with buckwheat and lavender, and that's what I sleep on. I sleep on a buckwheat, an organic buckwheat and lavender cushion that I made, a pillow that I made for myself. I'm just turning. If you don't have a turny through tool, they are fab. And it just means bag handles and stuff like that are so easy, and you can just turn them in and out like that. There we go. And just give that a quick press. And then down each side. I just stitch down, not because it needs to, just to, you can reinforce it. You can do a decorative stitch, however you like, but just stitch down both those sides. I've used ribbons before now, just to decorate the handle. That looks really pretty as well. I did that when I did this with a denim and Liberty Lawn. That was beautiful. That's one of my favourites. And then you're going to stitch around. So right sides together, you're going to stitch around three sides. But it's just, if you're making stuff for the bedroom, this is another thing where you can introduce some beautiful fabrics. It's not expensive to do. Just go backwards and forwards at the top, start and finish. And then fold your handle in half, like so. It's a great excuse for a decorative stitch, that. Get your unsewn side, and you want to fold it so that your seam is suddenly in the middle. Pop your handle in one end, like so. And then what I tend to do is a few stitches in, leave myself a turning through gap, and then start again just before the seam and stitch all the way up to the top. My personal preference, you know, you can do this however you wish. And then all you need to do is turn it through and fill. Now if you wanted to use some of your H630 and do a padded handle, then you can. But honestly, if you haven't seen these before, I have been making these since my sewing quarter days. I remember it vividly. I went to, gosh, was it Good Housekeeping or Good Homes or something like that? I was working the show for my sister-in-law, who had a hairband company. Anyway, so I was working the show, and I remember walking past the stand, and we'd not long started sewing quarter. So this world of sewing, whilst I could sew, I was learning so much. And I just saw these tablet stands, and they were being sold for $24.99, and suggested for people who were in bed or bedridden or spent a lot of time in bed, so that they could just change the angle to be absolutely perfect for them. And I thought, firstly, that's a brilliant idea. Secondly, that's an extortionate amount, because you can just do this with your scraps. I used to use rice and stuff like that, but it's heavy. And then I discovered the buckwheat. And also, I don't know if it's an urban myth about using rice in, that you shouldn't use rice in door stoppers and stuff like that, in case they get some sort of beast animal that you don't want in there. Oh, here we go. Sandalwood buckwheat, that's a joy. Oh, that does smell good. Or what else have I got in here? That's unscented, so I would probably mix that one through with lavender. Or I'm going to go sandalwood, because it smells divine. And I haven't got any lavender with me. It's in the warehouse. So about 250 grams of your buckwheat in there. And you can see, if I just take you out a handful, those little white bits in there, that's what holds the scent. These are the scents that they have in Liberty. They were masterminded by Alistair from House of Alistair. They're beautiful, beautiful scents. I really do love them. A huge amount. And they're just gorgeous. Now, grab yourself some paper, like so, and some sellotape, like so, and make yourself, oh, come on, hooked, a really, really, really loose funnel. There we go. And then that you will shimmy into there. I know I've made my funnel too big. Right, smaller funnel. There we go. So that when you start tipping, it's going to go straight in there. Now, what I would say is that these scents are, they are quite potent. So if you want a less strong smell, I mean, it's great because it means they last, but you can also get yourself some of the plain buckwheat and dilute it down a little bit. That's also absolutely fine to do. Now the trick with this, she says, potentially doing it, is not to overfill it. It's really tempting to fill the bag complete. Don't do it. I should have weighed this before I came to air. That looks about right. If you've gone for a 250 gram bag, that will do you perfectly. If you've gone for a 500 gram of the plain buckwheat and one of those then, and a scented one, then mix them together, you'll get 3. And then just stitch it, top stitch it along there. You can hand stitch. When I was doing my yoga and we were all of us were busily cramming for our anatomy and physiology exams, and they were big books and stuff. You know, I made everybody one, and I hand stitched all of them shut. But actually, whoops, if you actually catch the stitching, that's the key. Let me turn it that way around so I can actually see it. It does help if you actually stitch it when you top stitch it, if you know what I mean. Oh, silly me. There we go. Then honestly, if you actually do it properly, unlike me, then no one will ever know, because it's going to be right at the back. So you're not going to see it. There you go. You know, barely see the seam. And then that is exactly what I have here, so that I can then control all the show, and it's at exactly the right height, and then I can change it. You can just jiggle it around, and I can have it at whatever angle I want it to be at, so that it's absolutely perfect for me. That's why you don't want to overfill it, because otherwise you take away that wiggle room. But I've got one of these in the bathroom at the end of the bath with a PU base to it, so that it doesn't take up any moisture, and they're just great. They're all around the house, so wherever, you know, we watch anything on a tablet, that's what we do. So that's the Eco tablet, and either fill with buckwheat, lavender, whatever you, oh, it's not over there anymore, is it? It's there. There we go. Whatever you fancy, and it's just another way to get a bit of colour, a bit of beauty into the home, in my very humble opinion. So there we go. That is today's makes. But and also, you see, this will then go in Emily's bedroom and will look rather beautiful because it all coordinates. Yeah. And also it's nice to have books and things on as well. And I've got one friend that uses hers for recipe books in the kitchen. There you go. Are we all good? I think so. Which of your plain greys is closer to the Lisa Chandler Melba Grey project panel and border print? I will go and investigate that, Margaret, and find out. I wonder if anyone has ever swung their legs out of bed straight into the pockets with these things. Don't know, it'd be quite fun. But you do them up by the head of the bed, and then it doesn't, unless you've got really short legs. Oh, hello. Maybe if we ask Natasha nicely. Yes, Julia. Blank Quilting have a range called Nature Trail. Is that what you would like? Let me have a look, see what I can find. Watching Natasha and checking out fabric on my birthday. How nice. Happy birthday, April. Happy birthday. Fabulous. Well, I hope that you have a lovely birthday. I hope that you have a great time. Alison Fraser is tempted by all. Wow, it's all good. It's all good. I think the thing is that something like this, it makes a great gift, but also when it's made. And as they get older or whatever, you can always update it. It's cheaper than painting the whole house, right? The whole bedroom for them. You can just update with little pieces of decor. That's what I always think. So there we go. Oh, Freddie really cheered me up, said Karen. I hope that you are okay with the horrible news. What is that clear product Natasha's using? I wasn't concentrating for some reason. Oh, well, this stuff here. This stuff is it's a shelf lining. It stops stuff slipping on your shelves, or you can put it in your drawers to stop stuff slipping off your shelves. You're slipping around in there, or you can put it on trays to stop stuff slipping off your anti-slip. But when you put that in between, look up. So up here, Elizabeth, I've just put a bolt on there, and that's holds all of that in. That's got a magazine and a toy and the whole weight of it anyway. It's not shifted, has it? It's not budged, because it's doing what it needs to do. That's why we use this. Gemma said, "Oh, just put a piece of fabric in, that'd be fine." It's like, no. For the same price as the fabric, I can get something that's going to be better. And it's hidden under the bed. No one's ever going to see it anyway. And you can wash it. So there we go. Alrighty. Well, it's like wipe down proof. So there we go. That is today's show. Jane is in tomorrow with that thing of beauty, which when you think of the variety and the contrast that Lisa has brought us with her fabrics, I'm in awe, absolute awe. And I think this is so very, very different. And Margaret, by tomorrow, I will find out which grey is the closest to go with the greys with Lisa's new fabrics that have arrived today. Okay then, have a lovely rest of your day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, April. You want a set of bicycle clips there, Natasha, to keep them rolled? I probably do. Can you even get those anymore? Does anybody actually use bicycle clips anymore? Oh, here we go. Margaret, our resident Stitchy Witch, would opt for number 73, School Grey. Doesn't sound very sexy, but it's a great shade of grey in the Melba fabrics. There we go. Ask and we shall see. There we go. Have a great rest of the day. I will catch up with you, tomorrow with Jane, and then I'll be back again on Monday. All right, take care. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye, bye, bye.